So I was doing my regular zoomer business by studying the worst fear of my enemy,
Someone's crushing my nuts.
learning about supersonic aerodynamics, and watching every video on YouTube while eating my pasta. I thought about adding Subway Surfer to the mix until something magical happened. And things just clicked.
But can you?
This question bothers me for like a year now since I wrote it in my notes, and it's finally time to answer this dumb question if I or you can make a supersonic fart. And to answer this question, we need to understand in the first place what is supersonic speed even means. A supersonic speed is when an object or air travels in a speed higher than the speed of sound, or if the Mach number of it is higher than 1. But how do we get a fart to break the sound barrier? I mean, I can't just turn into a jet and let a fart out. So how do we get to those speeds anyway? We use this. This is a diverging converging nozzle. I 3D printed it because I thought it would look cool, but it just looks like two menstrual cups glued together. Ugh. Anyway, let's look inside. When air flows from a high pressure tank or a wind tunnel at a certain temperature, and if the pressure difference between the high pressure tank or the stagnation pressure and the outlet of the nozzle is high enough, then the air accelerates and becomes faster and faster until the flow at the throat is choked, meaning the speed of the flow in the throat is the speed of sound, Mach 1. And I know what you're thinking, I don't want to choke anyone or pressure anything to being choked, and I only have to say, are you a subsonic bitch or a supersonic chad? If you want to go supersonic, you gotta choke that flow, so choke that flow. Who said engineers can't be kinky? After the convergence section and the throat of the nozzle, you can further accelerate the flow with the expansion of the divergence section, if the area of the outlet of the nozzle is bigger than the area of the throat. And also the stagnation pressure in the high pressure tank is larger, or pressure in the outlet of the nozzle is decreased. The flow can be further accelerated until we break the sound barrier and we get a sonic boom and a supersonic flow. And there's an entire connection between the ratios of the areas of the exit of the nozzle and the throat of the nozzle and the Mach number, and we'll see a few equations to calculate the required conditions for that. But that's for later. To summarize, if you want to get to supersonic speeds, you need a divergent converging nozzle. So we need to assume that our rectum/colon and our asshole behaves the same as a divergent converging nozzle, with a certain area ratio between the anus itself and the exit of the anus. So all I have to do now is to measure the diameter of my own asshole. Wait, you can't just assume that your chocolate starfish is the same as that boring old nozzle that you talked about. Your colon is not a perfect circle, nor your leather Cheerio. It's flashy and ever-changing. Have you met any engineer, ever, will assume and approximate everything? Will assume that pi equals 3, there is no friction, no air resistance, the penguin is a cylinder, and will assume your goddamn gender if it will help me solve this question. That's why we are going to use these assumptions. Okay, back to the video. And you will have to accept those assumptions if you want to get an answer to this. Got it? Yeah. Good. So annoying. Where was I? Oh yeah, measuring my asshole. Apparently it's really hard to measure the diameter of your forbidden chocolate fountain, so I just got the average from Google with all the thermodynamic conditions inside the human body. Now we need to take the parameters we got from Google and input them into the flow equations in order to determine the pressure your bowel needs to hold in order to make a supersonic fart. And I know math and equations are kind of boring, but I have a really intuitive way in order to... No! Oh my god, stay with me. 911?
What's your emergency?
Yeah, I'm losing him.
Losing who?
The viewer's retention.
Sir, what are you talking about?
Okay, I know the math is boring, but please bear with me. I've written all the parameters we need in order to get the equations. Now we need to get the ratio between the exit of the nozzle and the throat of the nozzle, which is the exit of the asshole itself and the exit of the anal canal. From that ratio, we can go to isentropic flow tables, because we engineers love our tables, and get the correlated parameters to that area ratio. So I already did all the calculation, and we calculate the area ratio is 25, which means the Mach number from the flow table is 5, with pressure ratio of 0.00189. So from there, we divide the atmospheric pressure by the ratio, so we get that the required pressure inside the body is 53,611.111 kilopascals, or for reference, 529.1 atmospheres. For the American audience, the pressure inside the body is 14,533.861 alligator bites per football fields. Because I refuse to use your shit imperial system. Get into metric, assholes. Okay, we got the pressure. This is exciting. Let's see how much pressure our asshole can actually hold. So the human rectum can hold up to 5 kilopascals. Shit. Also, I calculated the temperature that is required to be at the exit of your anus in order to get to that Mach 5, and it's about minus 221 degrees Celsius. That's a mishap, but maybe there's another way. Maybe me will figure out another way to do that. Me in the future. Hi, future me here. Thank you for the extra work, cunt. So I did more calculations, and there is maybe another way that we can get what we want with a Mach number of 1.2. I got all the flow parameters from this NASA website that has all the information about isentropic flow, and a built-in calculator to give you all the flow parameters that you need for a specific Mach number, which is basically the flow table that I showed you before. And it looks like it was built in like 1998, and feels like any button or hyperlink will download a virus on your computer for sure. This is an official government website. What the fuck is that, NASA? Please fix it. So the pressure the environment needs to be in is 44 kilopascal, and the temperature of minus 32.4 degrees Celsius. To do that, you got to put your butt inside the vacuum chamber, cool to that temperature while holding a fart, open your cheeks, spread them, and then release it to the chamber to make a supersonic fart. But, and there's a big but, pun intended, I left one very critical factor besides that your ass will freeze, and that is at which point does this fart occurs. That because it's not happening in the anus, no, it's happening inside your anal canal, which means there is a phenomenon that might happen there, or most chance will happen there, which is a shockwave inside your asshole, kinda like this. Oh yeah, I don't think you want this inside your ass unless you want your hole a few meters larger. But let's not count on those pesky, very correct calculations and science and human body limitations and basic logic. What I need is data. What I need is an experiment. What I need is money. I need money. I don't want to spend $300 on a pressure tank, and also putting the entire experiment together, it's a little bit a lot for me. So what are we going to do is a little thought experiment, and I have a nice way to represent it. And maybe in the future I'll recreate it in real life. And go. Let me draw the settings. It is the LA mountains with a big, thick, black pressure tank. And I come and say, I'm out here with William Osman in sunny but smoggy LA, about to test if you can make a supersonic fart. We're going to attach a cow/pig intestines to this 1000 ATM pressure tank, and it's going to be a blast. And I'm William Osman.
Here, William Osman.
Now we need to get the intestines from the nearest target. Cue the target music. Oh, there it is. We got the goods. It looks disgusting and you can hear Michael Reeves gagging in the background.
What the fuck is that? What is that?
It's science, Michael, William says. This is so stupid. Fuck, I'm going to smell like the inside of a cow after this. We don't have water to wash this smell out of our hands, do we? No, do you think we came prepared for this? And then the backyard scientist comes and say,
Hey guys, Backyard Scientist here.
that's it. That is all he says. He doesn't even contribute to the experiment. We attach the intestines and turn on the pressure tank, and the intestines just flop violently like the floppy guys at car dealers. This is so shit. So I fix it by tying the end of the intestines and trying again. The intestines inflates and then it booms. Boom! That was so loud. Everyone is in awe and celebrates. And then Alan Penn comes and eat a piece out of it. Then we all get together and kiss each other. Okay, so apparently you can't make supersonic farts because of human body limitations. Sorry it took so long to upload, but I promise you there will be more videos in the future, and I'll try to make them as fast as possible. Thank you for watching. Please check one of these videos in order to give me more watch time, or click on my face and subscribe. Do something of those. Now! Now!